And then if I go back to Zoom, so there's just the three of us right now, but hopefully people will either catch up. Well, Gary's back on, so Gary, yeah. Okay, so I'm I'm live on YouTube, so there'll be two YouTube sessions for today, uh, which means people will be able to catch up. I'm going to share my screen. Now it's doing it again. It says sharing screen, but it's not showing me the screen. So we've got an issue with Tommy's joined us, but we're having issues, Tommy. We're not working correctly. So I'll try again. Yeah. I'm trying to share my MP5. Yes, I think it's now showing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, okay. So we're eventually back to where we were. As I say, if anybody's got disconnected, I'll post the two recordings in YouTube. So where was I? I was actually looking at this chart and I was going through. Okay, so I was saying that we were above the green trend line, and therefore we were looking. Well, we're still above the green trend line, so therefore we're still looking for a buy signal. And then I was talking about the change of wave and how it depended how you set up, how you entered your settings, and if you told the trading assistant to only look back 10 wave candles, then it will disregard this wave change, which happened more than 20 candles ago. So you can decide something in chat. It's not like I'm confused now. Yeah, Tommy, I've definitely been having computer problems to do with it was to do with the Zoom, I believe, but I'm now back on. So we're still above the green trend line. It's still looking for buy signals. However, we've just had a recent wave change, and if I put the line on rather than the candles, the price has now come below the red trend line, and we've now had a recent wave change from green to red. So when price gets below the red trend line, we have to start thinking about the possibility of either, are we looking for a buy or a sell, because it goes between the two trend lines. As you can see, prices come down to the green trend line and it's respected that green trend line. It hasn't gone any further, which happens a lot. We put the candle back on, but you can see it better if you put the line on. You can see that the price went down to the green trend line. It clung to it for a while, and then can't make its mind up. So am I not showing my screen? Let me just, I'll try that again. Okay, well, according to what's
Yeah, I
going
can
on,
see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tommy's saying he can see it as well. Okay, yeah, okay, good, everything, all good. Just a bit of an issue with Zoom. So this is not going to take a trade at the minute. It's still saying looking for a buy. I think that will change as soon as price gets below the green candle. We've got the Wada Atta, which is shaping up nicely for a sell. And as you can see, it's saying short. You can just about see it saying short there. So we're below the red trend line, but we haven't yet got below the green trend line. And in those situations, my trading assistant just sort of sits and waits, sits on its hands and waits. There's a third filter that you can choose to either apply or not apply. I believe I've got mine switched off right now, but that is we look for a crossover, so an MA crossover, and if the yellow solid line crosses over the white solid line, so that's the 13 moving average. You can see there it says in brackets 13, and if I hover there, that's 200. So you have the option to have a filter that makes the trading assistant wait for a recent crossover. Now, if you look, there hasn't been a recent crossover, and if there was a crossover, we'd be definitely looking for a buy because price would be above the 200 moving average. So we're in a bit of a no man's land right now. It's some of the indications are that we should be looking for a sell, and other indications are that we should be looking for a buy. And the trading assistant will simply stay out right now. It'll stay out because it's getting conflicting information. I'll put the candle back on, and you can see the price is respecting that green trend line, and now it's starting to go upwards. We had some news at 1:30, red flag, high impact news, and that was why price went down. It's now potentially wanting to go back up to where it started at 1:30. So there's nothing to do on Euro US, and for anybody who's joined late, I know I'm on the 5-minute chart. I'm just testing this out at the minute. I didn't have a lot of success, to be fair. But I'm going to go back to another pair and see what I can see here. So GBP USD, we're definitely below the red trend line. So my trading assistant is looking for a sell. I've had a recent wave change. If I put the line on, you can see that the wave changed from green and rising to red and falling. So that's certainly within my criteria. The third criteria, which is probably switched off on my settings right now, is the moving average. There hasn't been a crossover, which is why I've got it switched off. You can choose to switch it off or switch it on, but there are two criteria applying, and that is, one is actually we're still between the two trend lines, so we're still in no man's land. So it's actually saying looking for a sell signal, but it won't take it because we're still in between. So there's nothing going on there. The Wada Atta is saying keep out. So we'll move on to another pair, see if I can find anything more interesting. So Euro CAD. Okay, so we've got past the crossover. So we now start looking for signals. We're looking for a sell signal for the simple reason we're below the red trend line. However, prices come down to it's sort of so it got past the green trend line, then it's gone back above. There has been no moving average crossover, and the water atta is telling me to keep out. The blue line is pointing downwards. That's never a good sign. So I took it a fourth and then I'll go back to something else that I've been asked to talk about. So we're looking for a cell because we're below the red trend line. We're also below the green trend line, so that gets rid of that confusion. We have just had, a few candles ago, we've just had a wave change. So my training assistant is saying, okay, I'm below the red trend line and I've just had a change of direction of wave. So I'm certainly looking for cell signals. The latest crossover was way back, and that is definitely way too far back for, even if my MA crossover filter was switched on, it wouldn't take any account of that one. But I can still get in the trade if my water atta is okay, and it's not. It's the blue line is pointing downwards, and the volume, not only is it too low, but it's also conflicting. You know, it's chopping and changing. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got all 4 colours in the last few candles. So there's nothing going on there. So let me just try and look at something else. What was I asked to look at? Yeah, somebody asked me about the time frames, and if you right click on your chart and you click on time frames, you can change to 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minutes, or if you want, you can go to, you click on minutes, or if you just hover over minutes, it will give you the option to go to 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 12. So you can change your time frame just by right clicking and going to time frames. What are we? The grid down here, if you click on that, it'll put the grid. That's these horizontal and vertical lines. I don't use them. I like a nice clean chart, but you can use them if you wish. Oh, that's right. Somebody asked me how I scroll back, because if you try and move the chart to the right, it just keeps going back to where it started. So you can either click on the chart and click auto scroll, and then drag it, and it stay where you want it to stay. Or if you prefer, you can go up to this box here, and it says scroll the chart. So you click on that one, it changes color from blue to white, and again it'll allow you to drag if you want to look back and see what's happened previously. And then when you finish with that, if you click on that, it takes you back to where you start. There was something else that somebody asked me. Oh, I know. These things are, I'm currently on the cursor, but if you want to, you can, if you want to do some back testing, you can click on this crosshair, and you can get to a particular time. So let's say I want to look at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So that's 1 o'clock looking on the vertical line, and you can, hang on. So if let's say I was looking at an entry at 1 p.m. And then I look for the price. The price at 1 p.m. was there, and you've got the price right over on the right hand side of your chart under it's here. I'll put it back in position, you can see it. So that was the price 77024 at that precise time. So if you want to do back testing, you can use that. You can unclick it. So if you want rid of it, you just click it on the chart. I sometimes use these vertical lines if I want to make a point. Let's say I want to make a point that there was some news at 1 o'clock. So there was news at 1:30. It wasn't on my chart, but if I've just put that on there, that's actually, it's saying 15:40, so I read that as 13:40. If I want to just drag it to 13:30, there we go. I can just drag it there. So you can mark up your charts. You don't have as much flexibility as you do on TradingView, but you can still mark up your charts using MT5. If I want rid of that, I just click on it and it should disappear. No, it's not doing that. Not to wait. I think I've covered all the questions that I had. Oh, there's another option here. You can zoom in. If you want a closer look at everything, you just zoom in and then you can zoom out again. You've only got one. And I think I've covered all the questions I had in this morning. Let's just go back through the charts and see if we can see anything of any interest. So this icon here allows you to toggle between the 4 charts, and so if you want to just have the one chart, you just click on that there and you've just got the one chart. If you want to go back to the 4 chart, click on there, and I think I showed this before, but if you click on Windows, you can rearrange, you can tile them horizontally, or you can tile them vertically, or you can just tile them the way that I had them. So arrange icons. No, that's not what I wanted. Tile the windows, there we go. Right, I'm going to have another look at these charts and see if I can see anything. So this is Euro US on the 5-minute chart. Oh, that's right. Somebody asked me to explain this panel here, so I'll do that in a minute. So price is currently below the red trend line, but it's also above the green trend line. So there's a bit of confusion because my trading assistant is seeing that as looking for a buy signal. It won't get into a trade right now. And we have had a recent wave change, so it's gone from, the wave has gone from green and rising to red and falling. So that's sort of a confirmation that we should be looking for a sell. But if you've got the trading assistant working, it's stubbornly looking at a buy because it's recognizing that we're still above the green. There hasn't been an MA crossover anywhere in the recent past, and the water ATA is all wrong. For the trading assistant to get you into a trade, if it was going to get you into, well, first of all, it's saying here no trade, so you don't need to look any further. That will change to either long or short. In this scenario here, it would have gone to long because the explosion line, which is currently a blue line, I'm going to change that to a white line. I go to indicators. Whilst I'm here, I'm going to get rid of some of these because these are duplicates. So I'll just double click on that. That's a 13. So that's the moving average that I want. Sorry, that's the Heikin-Ashi smooth that I want to keep. So therefore I don't need this one. So I'll delete that. It's just duplicating. It's and it's making the computer work a little bit harder. So I've got one smooth, which is what I need. I want the 13. This is these hiking ashes. I've now got 4 moving averages, and I need a maximum of 3. So just double click on that. So that's a 200. I'm happy with that. That's a 13. I'm happy with that. That's a 200. Well, you can get rid of that. I only need a 200 and a 1300 and a 13, I should say. And that's another 200. So I'm really just duplicating indicators, and you're just wasting computer. So, right, okay, what I was going to do was change the colors, wasn't I? So right click, indicator list, double click on there, go to colors. I just need to move that out of the way. Okay, so I can make those lines thicker. I just click on there, you get a drop down menu. I can make that really thick. You might be happy with it staying at blue, but it's now much thicker than it was. I personally like the white one. Colors. So it should now be a nice thick white line. Okay, so that's the way I like it to be. I can still see the orange. You can make that thicker if you wish, but the orange is showing the dead zone. If everything's below the dead zone, you certainly don't want to get in. If here you had a nice dark green histogram, and the histogram was above the explosion line, and the explosion line was pointing away from the dead zone, that was a good time to get in for a buy. And as you can see, there'd been a wave change and price went up. So I'll put the candles back on. So that time there, when everything on the water atta was looking good, that would have been a good time to get in for a buy. And then, as you can see, we got to that candle there, and this is where I use the vertical line. So up to that candle there, we were good to get in for a buy. But after that line, you can see that the green changes to a light green, and the histogram bars start to step down in value. So they were stepping up, stepping up, stepping up. Then they start to step down. That's a good time to get out, because although the explosion line is still pointing away from the dead zone, you've got less. I guess that's less volume. But as you can see, it started to falter. It then went back up again here briefly, and it went back up again. Price went back up again. Then it got to that point, and it decided to go back down again. So that's how you use the water atta. I use it to keep me out of trades much more than I use it to get me into a trade. See, this here is just absolute confusion. You've got every color. There's only 4 colors of histogram bars. There's a lime green, there's an orange, there's the red, and there's a dark green. And this is total confusion. It's indicating a lot of uncertainty. And what's going on here is prices literally moving sideways. We had a bit of a wobble at 130 when there was some red flag news, and then it's very undecided what it's doing. It's possibly trying to get back up, because one of the things about the moving averages is price always goes back to the moving average, and you've got a 200 moving average there, and it'll possibly try and get back up there. And price is sort of the 13 moving average, price is almost clinging to it. The bigger the moving average, the longer it. This is what we call a slow moving average. That's based on the previous 200 candles, and as you can see, the price it's going down, but it's not going down as fast now as it was there. So this price decline is reflected here. This price sideways movement is reflected here because the 200 moving average is almost level, not quite, but it's almost level. And the 13 is wanting to come back and at least touch the 200. It'll either bounce or break. It'll either bounce off the 200 or it'll break through it. My view of when it breaks through it is that you're in a strong position for a buy, because once it's got past the 200 moving average, you've got more chance of it going on to a buy. Having been below the moving average for quite some time, it might just be wanting a change and going above the moving average. But the 200 moving average I find is quite useful, because price will keep returning to it, and it'll either bounce or break, and you just need to let it do what it wants to do, and then you follow it in its footsteps. So there's nothing going on with Euro US. I'm expecting that later this afternoon, because there is some more red flag news, so there might be a bit of sideways movement now until this news comes along. Well, there's only three things that can happen. Price can keep on going upwards, break past the 200 and continue up in that direction, or price can go up to that point and then reject off it and come down, or it can just cling to the 200 and just move sideways for a while. I don't know what's going to happen, but if the 13 crosses over the 200 and starts to move away from it, there's a good chance that you're good to get in for a buy. If it bounces off it and starts moving away in the opposite direction, there's a good chance that you're good to get in for a sell. If it moves sideways, then you don't want to be in a trade, because consolidation is the trader's worst nightmare. So nothing much to report there. If I go back to we're still in, well, no, price itself is just above the green trend line. So I'll put the candles on and you can see. So it's just broken past the green trend line, but can you see it's hesitating? It's actually now come below it. But that wick was, the top of the wick was the high point it got to, and then what you get is a battle between the buyers and the sellers, and the buyers are trying to push it above that trend line, and the sellers would say, no, we don't want it above that trend line. So there's a battle going on. Those long wicks in both directions are telling me that the big boys are not happy with they're disputing whether price is going to go above back to the 200 moving average, or whether it's going to stay below that trend line. Let them sort the battle out and then make a decision. But you can see that my trading assistant is saying, I'm not looking for a buy, I'm not looking for a sell until this breaks away from the green trend line or comes back below. But once again, the water atta is telling me to keep out. If that blue line was pointing upwards and the histogram was above the blue line, I might be interested in a buy, but currently that is definitely telling me to keep out. And I'll look at the last two pairs. If anybody's got any questions, by all means, shout out, but I'm running over time now. Right, okay, so it's telling me it's looking for a buy signal, and that's based on the fact that we're above the green trend line. I wouldn't get too excited about that because it's likely to bounce off that red trend line, not only because it's a red trend line, but because we've also got the 200 moving average. But it's got two reasons to bounce off. It might break straight through and carry on going upwards, but it's going to find resistance at that point. And yes, there has been a wave change from red to green, but what Arte is saying, no way. I want this kind of scenario, not that kind of scenario. And the last one. So these two Canadian dollar pairs are pretty similar in that you've got price trying to get, I don't know where I picked that up from, but I'll put it over there. Trying to not only break past the green trend line, in which case you'd be looking for a buy, but also going on and trying to get past the 200 moving average, and also getting past the red trend line. So there's a bit of resistance going on at that point. What I want to see is a definite move above that white line and above that red line, and then I might start getting interested in looking for, and I keep saying I might start getting interested. I'm relying on my trading assistant to follow my rules, and it won't be interested until it gets above that area there. When I traded manually, I would quite often just draw a line across there and say, let me know when price gets above there, and then I'll come back and have another look. But the trading assistant knows not to get in for a buy under the current situation, partly because the water ATA is telling it to keep out. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover today. I'll just repeat what I said earlier. I'm hoping that these sessions will become question and answers sessions. You can either ask a question just by unmuting yourself and speaking on the live, or you can put a question in the chat and I'll see it. It appears at the top of my screen that somebody's typed something into the chat. Or if you've got a question that you need to, if it's a slightly longer question, you could always send me a question on Facebook Messenger in advance, the day before or the morning before. And if you want to send screenshots or whatever as information in sort of evidence in your question, I think that's probably the way that my sessions are going to go. I think it's going to be, just shout out your questions or send me your questions, because otherwise, once we've all got the crossfire trading system and we've got them working satisfactorily, there should be no need for long sessions without questions. So I'm looking forward to getting all your questions, particularly ones in advance. So this price now is starting to push up above the green trend line. It's above the white moving average line, and it's also above the red trend line. The trading assistant is still regarding it as a sell signal. That's got to change any second now. I think if the next candle opens above the red trend line, it will definitely be looking for a buy. The 13 is making its way to the 200, and the water ATA, if we just make that a little bit bigger, the water ATA, you see the blue line is still below the dead zone, therefore we're not going to get in for a buy, but it won't take much for that blue line to cross over the dead zone and start pointing away from the dead zone, and we might well be in for a buy on this. The other scenario is price will want to cling to the 200 moving average. So we just have to wait and see. But I think that is, if I was trading this manually, I'd be looking across to the left and I'd be thinking it might go up as far as there because it was there earlier. It got up there and found some resistance and turned around. It might be trying to get back up to that point. It might find resistance and turn around again. But you know, this is where you've got to start trusting your trading assistant. The reason it's not getting in right now is this isn't quite set up. The blue line is pointing away from the dead zone. Just. And the histogram is definitely above the blue line. So we're looking more like a buy than a sell. There you go. That has now changed to a buy signal because that candle opened above the red trend line. It was already above the green trend line. So we're now looking for, we've got price above the trend lines. So we're looking for a buy. We've got a wave change. There was a red downward wave. We've now got a green upward wave. And a perfect crossfire trade will be when the 13 moving average crossed over the 200 moving average. And if everything else was telling me to buy, my trading assistant would get in. So it's 1/4 past. I don't think it's worth me sitting and watching this because it could take another trip. And by the way, I'm on the 5 minutes, so each candle is going to take 5 minutes. So we've got 3 minutes left on this candle, and we probably need another candle before we get in. But this is setting up nicely. The blue line is pointing away from the dead zone. The histogram is above the blue line. It hasn't changed to long, but price is heading in the right direction. We've got news in an hour and 45 minutes, so we're pretty safe news-wise. So keep an eye on that. That's GBP CAD. And I'm going to look at the other CAD pair. Yeah, that's shaping up as well. Look, we're now in a buy. It's looking for a buy signal because we're above the trend lines. We've broken past the 200 moving average. We've got a wave change. We're not far off a moving average crossover, and the water atta is shaping up nicely. So there's two pairs shaping up for potential buys. This one, yeah, pretty similar. It's trying to get past the 200. It's definitely above the two trend lines. There's been a recent wave change. We might have to wait a while for an MA crossover, but the water atta is starting to shape up nicely. The explosion line is pointing away from the dead zone. The histogram is above the explosion line. So we've got 3 out of the 4 pairs shaping up. This is a little bit slower. Price has reached the 200 and is coming back. It wicked above and then came back below. We're definitely above the trend lines. We've definitely had a recent wave change. We're not particularly close to the MA crossover, but the water atta is shaping up nicely. So 4 out of the 4 are looking like we might potentially be getting into a buy situation. But I think because we're on the 5 minute time frame, we really don't want to be sitting here for another 5-10 minutes. But I would keep an eye on those.
But can I just ask you, just to clarify, you've gone on to 5 minutes just to test it to see if you get a more favourable result than 1 or 2.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that because it's not as volatile on the higher time frame, obviously? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to test it this afternoon. And the reason why I started testing it on the 5 minute was we had a guy in the group who started testing this on the 5 minute. Well, he started testing the Crossfire Assistant, and he accidentally did it on the 5 minute time frame. He wasn't aware that it was on the 5 minute time frame, and he had two. It only took 2 trades, but each of them made 2% in one day. And I thought, well, I cannot ignore that. I've got to test it. But to be fair, my results haven't been as good as his were. I've got a feeling I might go back to testing it on 2 minutes rather than 5 minutes.
And then just another quick question. After the news, do you have your delay 10 minutes? Because mine took 2 trades earlier and lost them both, but I only had it on 5 minutes.
I think mine's set on 5 minutes, but by all means change it to 10 if you feel safer doing that.
Yeah.
It depends on the news, it depends on the day. Sometimes the news is done and dusted after a couple of candles, a couple of 2 minute candles. Sometimes you get a delayed reaction, if you like. It's something you've got to choose for yourself.
Yeah.
But I've currently got mine set on 5 minutes. I haven't had any major problems with the news recently. What I've been having is consolidation, where prices, when you look at why you lost the trade, it basically just got stuck in consolidation, moving sideways.
I've just took 2 trades on there. One, I'm using the 3 minute one at the minute.
Yeah.
It's got me into the CAD one, and it's got me into a Euro USD.
Right.
They're doing all right at the moment. Well, I changed mine from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, Tony, because I was getting it was just it seemed too volatile in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not getting time to settle or something like that. I don't know. It's caught me out a couple of
Yeah, I
times.
mean, I'm even thinking of changing it to 15 to keep out of way for a bit. Really.
Yeah. That's why I asked the question. Yeah. And the other thing, Richard, I know you want to mention Tommy's on. I just seen Tommy coming on. I know you wanted to mention about a version that he's got or something.
Yeah. Tommy had when I was looking at your charts, Tommy, I noticed that it said if you look here, it says expires on the 19th of the 11th on mine, but on your charts, Tommy, it had January 2025, and we were just wondering.
It's that new one with the security on it, I think. The one that I have. You have to put your email address in there. Well, you had yours in there though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've got that security thing, but I don't have the January 2025. So, well, the only place you could have got it would be in the chat, in the training assistant chat. So when I finish this call, I'm going to look through and see if I've missed one that's been posted.
Well, there's still some things apparently different because I was on the 1 minute, but while you were talking, I had 4 straight losses on Euro USD on the TA, not manual trades. Just it took trades and it was consolidating and it lost them almost as soon as it took them.
Yeah, well, that there's your consolidation. That's what we've got to try and avoid, consolidation. But so I'll look back in the trading chat and see if I can find a version that that I've missed out on. But it was definitely, if you look at those, Tommy, you'll see it says January 2025, and I think you seem to be the only one that's got that. So have a look in the trading chat, see if you can find another one, and
would it not be saved in Tommy's computer, that particular version, before he loaded it on?
I got it off of one of the downloads somewhere.
Yeah.
I thought I got it off of Richards, but I must not have if he doesn't have that one.
No, it cannot. The only place, well, it can be in 2 places. One is I've got a chat group with Oliver and Paul where we only talk about Crossfire, but the main I mean, occasionally he drops versions in there for me to test. But the main place that you get a new version is in the trading assistant chat. So I'll just go back and see if I've missed a new one.
Yeah, I think it must have come from Oliver.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Oliver puts them in the trading chat, and Paul occasionally posts them. And I've posted them as well, but that's the only place it can be. So it's worth trolling back and seeing if you can find it. I'll just make a final comment on this. We're on Euro US. Can you see how? And this is just sort of reading the charts. Price has gone up quite nicely. It's broken past the 200 moving average, and then it's tried to come back down again, and it wicked. You see how it wicked all the way past the 200, and then it's going back up again now, and that's. If I was trading manually, I'd be looking for that retrace where it's gone above the trend, the 200 moving average, and then it's gone back. We call it a retrace. It just goes back, and I don't know whether it tests it out or whether it checks on it or whatever, or whether. But then there's been we're now back up to an upward movement. And the other thing that I'm seeing here is, see all those three candles. Well, it's just gone above it, but they seem to be struggling to get above that level there, and it's now going above. The 13 moving average is still clearly heading towards that 200, and the water atta is looking good. Now I'm on the 5 minutes, so this all takes longer. And maybe if I was on the 2 minute, I might be in a trade by now. Let me just, I don't know if it'll work, but I'm just going to try time frames, minutes. Well, there you go. On the 2 minute time frame, I think my trading assistant would have got me in already, because I'm above the 200, I'm above the red and the green trend line. I've had a recent wave, and I've also had an MA crossover. So at this point, the only doubt was the water atta.
My 2 minutes just put me in a GBP USD for a win. It's just one.
Yeah. So that point there, it's good. You were good to go for a buy. So the 2 minute on this occasion is looking good, but it might have taken you out there, look, because it did a bit of a retest. So I think I'm going to go back to the 2 minute and try and avoid consolidation. I mean, one of the things that you can do, if you're watching the charts and you see consolidation occurring, just switch off the algo trading until it comes out of consolidation. And you know, it was messing about here, but now it's a lot clearer. It's actually trying to go upwards. So along here, I might stop the algo trading and wait for it to. I might have switched it on there, and then I might have waited, and then once we got that MA crossover, I might have switched it back on again. But it's saying still looking right. So we've got a long here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get in for a buy. Let's just see if so I'm on.
Sorry, Richard, I'm going to have to go now. But I've just got wins on the GB USD and the GB CAD that I got into. I closed them off when they were nearly enough, like 0.75%. So
yeah,
so they've done all right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're on the 2 minute, yeah.
On 3 minute, I am.
3 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cheers.
Okay, cheers.
So for some weird reason, it's got me in and then it's got me out. Maybe Yeah, that's weird.
It may have been that moving average crossing the red line there or something. It's got all kinds of little things that takes you out before before you're ready. I've
Yeah.
noticed it.
Yeah, that looks, oh, it's automatically got me in a buy trade, so let's have a look at that. Okay, so I'm above the red and the green trend lines. I'm above the 200. I've had a recent MA crossover, and I've had a recent wave change, and this is telling me long because that's set up nice. So what I need to be able to do is I can see my target. It's up there, that red dash line. Now that is telling me that my target is only 7.6 pips. It should really be 8 pips away. Because I'm on a 4 pip stop loss and I'm on 1 to 2. So that line needs adjusting. And the way I deal with that is I move it slightly. If I hover on that line, it'll let me do it. I hover on that line and click on it. I can move it up a little bit. And it should now say 8 pips or more. Didn't want to do it, but anyway, there we go. So I'm on 8.8 pips there. So that will give me a better win if it gets up there. Oh, with 2.5 pips up, I really should just let the trading assistant do its job, but I'm so used to trading manually. I'm looking for reasons to get out. You see where price is now. There's a previous high there over on the left. So it's finding the same resistance as it found over there, and on that occasion it also found the 200 moving average. So maybe that was why it turned around. And I'm conscious of that possibly being a turning point. I think I need to learn to trust the trading assistant. So my water atta has done its job. It's got me in a trade. It's still looking good for a buy. The Heikenhashi wave is still looking good for a buy. The 13 is definitely moving away from the 200. We just need a bit more impetus, a bit more momentum. It would be nice to get a win on the live. Anyway, it's I've been on an hour and a half. I don't want to stay on much longer. But anyway, keep an eye on these because they all look as if that one's still heading. The Watt-Atta's keeping me out of that one. The Watt-Atta's looking favourable on that one. It's got a long. I would probably wait until the crossover occurred. And this one, Well, that was the one that got me and got me out. Okay, so I'm just going to do one more thing. I know you've seen me do it before, but it's saying already traded. So the trading assistant will not get me into another trade on this pair unless I do something about it. And so what I do is I go to view, I go to navigator, I'm on GBP card, so I'm going to take the TA off GBP card. So I'm going to highlight that and then right click, remove it from GBP card. So I've now taken the trading assistant off. If I put it back on again, I need to check that the common has still got the box ticked. I need to go to, that isn't my my set list, that's an old set list. I need to load my current set list. I'm on GBP card, so I'm on a 4 pip Richards PM Crossfire 4 pip set. Click on that, open it, okay, and it will now get me in. It's just literally just got me in. GBP card. That's just happened as it loaded the trading assistant on. That was how I got quite a few wins the other afternoon by doing that, because I could see that price was heading in the right direction, so I followed it. It's not working out too well at the minute because I'm down 2.2 pips, but that's how you can get in. If you think that you're in an upward movement and you want to have the opportunity of doing further trades, you can do that until we get it. I think the next version we get will have that automatic. So we're half a pip down. Euro card. That's a win, isn't it? Is it? Yeah, it got me in there and it's taken me out there. So I've got I'm on 1 to 2, so I've got a 1% on that on Euro card. Let me just see. Euro card. That's still on the 5 minute. So the other Canadian dollar pair, I'm still in it, but I'm on the, yeah, I'm still on the 5 minute. So the 1.6. So this could turn out to be a decent afternoon if I get 2 wins at $1,000 each. If I was sitting watching a second trade and I'd already banked $1,000, I might consider getting out if it showed signs of not going all the way. Let me just check how many pips we've got here. Well, that would give me, that target would give me 8 pips. So I can either move that up and just to get it to more than $1,000, or, and the other thing I can do is I can play safe with my stop loss. I can say this is my stop loss, and that would give me 4 pips stop loss. Why don't I move that up to above my entry point, and then I cannot lose. So I've now moved my stop loss to above my entry, so I cannot lose on that trade. And I would quite often do that. There we go. It's just taken me out. So I've just won the let me go to the toolbox. I've won something on there. I don't know what I've won. There we go. So this afternoon, it actually went, that trade there, it hit my stop loss, but I've moved my stop loss to above break even. So I only won $186 on that one, but I didn't lose. The main one was the $1,000 that went full. And then I hadn't noticed that one, but that was another one that was on. It's taken a couple of others that I hadn't noticed as well. So on the 14th, I've got 3 losses and 2 wins. But my losses are less than 500, so I'm still up on the day. And there's another trade. So it's got me into GBP USD. Okay, so I'm I'm 3 pips down at the minute. This is something that Oliver's having a look at. You can see that I've got my actual target is 8 pips, but it's going to take me out at 7.4 pips. I know Oliver's tinkering with that, so I'm going to move that up so that if I do win, I'm going to get a full 8 pips, like the 8.7 pips up there. And it's just taken me out. It's come back to my stop loss. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to, unless there are any questions, I'm going to call it a day. So thanks for jumping on, and I'll be back again on Tuesday. If you've got any questions that you want to send, use Facebook Messenger, and I'll answer them. So have a good weekend, and I'll catch you on Tuesday.
Cheers, Richard. Have a good weekend. Thank you.